Hello, and welcome to my YouTube channel. My name is Jameelah, and I am a master manifester, and I'm sure you are too because you are consuming content like this. The name of this channel is Holistic Manifesting, and you already know why if you've been here before, because I believe in a whole body, whole mind, and whole being experience when it comes to manifesting these amazing lives that we are choosing. If you are new here, welcome. I share wisdom. I share stories. I share my complete essence. And I've been doing this over the years. I've been mostly consistent for the past year. So I enjoy these sessions. They're almost like little therapy sessions. What I'm discussing in this video today, and of course, if you've been here before, welcome back. I'm so grateful that you see some value in what I have to offer. What I'm discussing in this video is how the evil eye is real. And I know when people say things like that, it kind of sounds like magic or something mystical or something that a lot of people may not believe in to a certain degree. But I kind of feel like we use words to replace things in different areas. So in science, it'll be called one thing. In religion, it'll be called another. And then like in a spiritual community, it'll be called another. And then in a community where they believe in witchcraft or things like that, it'll be called another. But at the end of the day, it's still just energy. And so when I say the evil eye is real, I mean that a lot of people do not believe that if you have the wrong eyes on things that are important to you, that it can cause negative impacts in your life. A prime example of this is, and I'll say this because, when I first purchased the most recent house that I live in, I was very proud of it because I felt like this is the best one yet. This is the best place yet. And I was like, let me share. And I did a little WhatsApp video and I shared it around to some people. And then directly after that, I had a major issue with one of my daughter's bathroom to where the tub did an overflow and the carpet got wet. I had to rip all the carpet up because I had just put that carpet in because they like carpet in the bedrooms. I had to rip all the carpet up, put in new carpet. It's like it was right when we moved in. She'd only been in her room for 2 days. And let me tell you, she was so disappointed. And so I'm not saying that that's the only case of it, but I've had things like this several times happen in my life where I'll show someone a new vehicle that I have. And then on the way home from showing them the new vehicle, I'll scrape it or something on a pole, something that normally would never happen. Or I'll tell someone about a trip or something that I'm going to go do or something exciting that I have going on. And then all these complications and things would happen. This is what I found most recently in this past, I say 6 months to a year, I guess. I've been keeping things to myself. And when I say to myself, I mean tightly to myself, not even people that I would normally share things with. And when I tell you those things that have been showing up in my life and working out for me have been going off without a hitch, it's weird. It's recently I took my daughters on a trip and stuff, and we had all these extra special things happening on this trip and all these little needs and fun little adventures and all this. And I just kept it all to myself. And I'm like, if I share things, it's when it's done. And nothing went wrong. When I tell you nothing, even from luggage to, I let them see what first class felt like. And they enjoyed that, right? They were like, we got off the plane first. And I'm like, isn't that nice? Nothing was an issue. The food service, the restaurants we went to, the stores we went to, the way we were treated, every single thing was perfect about that entire visit. The only thing that was not perfect was the hotel that I booked initially. I made a mistake. It was not it. I left the same night and my daughters were laughing because it was almost midnight. I was like, I cannot sleep in a place I don't like. I just don't do that. I just don't do it. And so that was the thing, but it was fixed so quickly and the place we went to was so nice and the people were so nice. Everything was great. And even the rental car that I got, they upgraded it and it wound up being the same make. It might up being the same make that I drive here at home. So it's I didn't have to I guess they downgrade to another kind of vehicle. So it was very, very nice. And I learned something in that process. I learned that when we actually say things that we do in our lives are for us, that we're doing this thing for us, we're showing up because of us. We're creating this life that we want to choose, live because of us. We are getting this degree because of us. We're working on improving ourselves because of us. We're not worried about other people. You have to truly mean that, because the moment you start entering others into the conversation of something amazing that you have going on, I can almost guarantee you, if they are not genuinely happy for you, if they don't genuinely feel good for you, that negative energy that they're placing on your great thing or something that's happening in your life will soon evolve into a mishap or something negative happening or something that you didn't want to experience. And I can think about this with so many things in my life, but I think that we underestimate how important it is to have people around us that truly want to share great things with us, that truly want to show up for us. Some of us don't come from families or environments to where there's a genuine care or a genuine interest in whether or not someone else succeeds or whether or not someone else is successful, or whether, and where it comes from, whatever. Sometimes it's not embedded by parents. Sometimes it's just not something that was a culture of the environment that you grew up in, or whatever it is. But we have to be able to know the difference. We have to know the difference between genuine support and genuine interest, and then people who we are showing things to knowing that it's going to bother them, knowing that it's going to make them feel some kind of way, knowing that it's going to make them feel, like, why do they get that and I don't get this? And it's going to be some type of a negative outcome. Because all energy has to have somewhere to reside. And when that energy is given off, if you are unknowing that it's coming your way, then you're vulnerable to it. And then it just seeps right into your environment. I'm a strong believer of that. So don't go around believing for 1 second that when people say, oh, the evil eye, it's like, oh, what are these women harping on about again? What are they talking about again? What are they whining about again? It is definitely real. When we start to make accomplishments and get those successes that we want to have in our lives, we have to learn how to keep it to ourselves until that project is completely done. And a lot of times people tell you move in silence because people are going to try to discourage you. They're going to try to do this, that, and all that. Sometimes they don't try to discourage you. Sometimes they don't speak negatively over you. Sometimes they don't give you any reason whatsoever to think that they don't truly support you. But what you do have is your gut feeling. And a lot of times we ignore it because people are being nice and they're putting on a good show. But I know deep down inside, when I meet people and I have different interactions, my gut feeling tells me how far that relationship can go. My gut feeling tells me how much this person can be supportive of me and how much they can receive the support that I give to them. My gut feeling tells me that it's my experience and wisdom in those areas. So I don't really have to look at all the outside things. They bought me a nice gift. They said these wonderful things. But at the end of the day, it's like, what do you feel? What do you truly feel about what they're doing and what they're saying? It's like, I kind of feel like they want to be supportive of me, but they're not there yet. And so when I have something great happening or coming up, I'm not going to share it with them until it's done. And it doesn't mean that I don't want the friendship or the relationship or the connection and all those wonderful things. It just means that I know the limitations of the connections and the people and the environments that I'm connected to, and I'm going to honor those things. I'm going to honor the limitations, right? And honoring the limitations doesn't say that, kick the people out of your lives, never talk to them again. They don't support anything you do. They don't love you. They don't like you. It does not mean that. Understand the limitations of what you are connected to. I even have things like, I've always made vision boards like all the time. And I say vision boards, somebody called them action boards, but I still say vision. The reason why I say vision is because it's like my visual representation of what I want to experience and what I'm planning on experiencing, what I know is happening in my life. And then like the action per se is not on the board. The action comes in the scripting, the journaling, and the everyday task and the meditating and the things that I do to get myself prepared for those beautiful things to show up, right? The pictures and all those things, they're just like a motivation. The words on the vision board is like a motivation. And it inspires me every time I'm sitting there. It's just like, oh yeah, this kind of is happening right now. And that already happened. And this is going to happen. You know it because look at those other things that already happened, right? It's like this game of life is pretty fun sometimes. So I used to keep those in my living room. I used to keep them out where everybody could see them when they came to my house because I was so proud of the things that I was envisioning for myself. I used to keep them splattered all over the wall. And let me tell you this. I used to be connected to someone who didn't have any real plans for like education or school or anything like that. And she said it several times. She was like, I don't really have, she just got her bachelor's degree and she was like, she's going to go on from there and see what happens. And then she just decided, you know what, I'm not doing anything else. I'll get my master's degree. But on my vision board, it was a personal goal of mine. I always had a PhD up there. Now, I was when my daughters were very little. I didn't have the finances to support it at the time, and I didn't want to go do it with student loans. And I was like, I'm going to work on that degree and I'm going to get there. And I wanted to be accepted into a school that was reputable and nice. And I did, because I came from a background of not high academic achievement, not because I wasn't smart, just because I was first generation college student. And I just didn't come from an environment that prepared you for that kind of thing. So every time they looked at my track record, I had been denied for 2 schools. And I'm just like, I know I'm smart enough to work on this degree. Like, what is the issue? Well, I was sharing all this with her and going through the motions. It was on my vision board. And sure enough, the last time I was rejected from a school, I talked to her on the phone and she was just like, oh, I'm going to the school or whatever. And they, she said, this is what she told me. She was like, they asked me if I wanted to work on my PhD. And I was like, sure. And it took a lot. I'll be honest with you. At that time, my daughters were like 4 and 6 years old, maybe like 6 and 8, one of those little areas. It took a lot for me to positively feel good about her journey, because I was trying to do it so badly. And that's another test that we have on our manifestation journey a lot. It took a lot for me to, truly give her that support. And I did it and everything, right? And, she got the degree and all, and I was impressed. And then like years later, we had a conversation and I, of course, worked on my PhD after that. And she told me, well, I was happy that I inspired you to work on your PhD. And I was like, inspired me? Like, what are you talking about? It was on my vision board. And so what it reminded me of is that when we put these things out there and we have people around us that are not quite supportive, a lot of times they don't even have a plan, and they'll look at what you got going on and say, well, that looks like a good accomplishment, and they'll start doing those same things, which I welcome the community, but sometimes it's not in good faith. And we got to be able to know the difference. So I stopped putting vision boards out in there so nobody can like I don't even know why I was energetically held up, right? I did great in grad school. And so maybe it was having the wrong people put their eyes on what I was trying to accomplish and what I was trying to do. At the time, I wasn't that tapped into that, because I was like, oh, I'm a girl's girl. I'm around everyone. If you're a good person, you can hang with me. My door was kind of a little bit more wide open. And so I stopped putting vision boards out in the front. To me, it was pretty decor. Now it's in my bedroom. It's in an intimate space. It's a part of my bedroom decor. I made it pretty, put it in a beautiful frame. Whenever I need to add something new to it, I open the frame and I add things to it. And then when I use my walking pad, it's right in front of me, because I always, place it right there. And so it's no longer like community property. So we have to be real intentional when it comes to who we allow in and who we let know what we have going on. Because when I tell you, evil eye is real. And my daughter will tell you, because she's one of those people that like to hang around a lot of people, and certain things that she's had working for herself and connected to, they fell flat. And she's like, why didn't that work out? She had a job interview somewhere, and she told these couple of little people that she was hanging around that didn't have any good intentions for her. And I said that because as a mom, you can see, but you don't really push it, because you want them to learn how to have discernment on their own, how to use their discernment and intuition. And she's just like, oh, I have this interview time. Nobody calls, never call, no call, no show. Obviously a company you wouldn't want to work for, but at the same time, I'm just like, next time, keep it to yourself. Next time, keep it for you until it's all worked out, until you have your final interview and you're working there and people just like, oh, I'm working there, let it pop out. Don't feel the need to drag people in when you're not exactly sure of what their intentions for you and how they actually feel towards you. Just let it be your thing. Anyway, evil eye is real. I hope you all have a wonderful, wonderful, wonderful day. And don't forget to like and subscribe and share the videos. All those things are lovely, and I appreciate it. Bye for now.